place.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I ended up getting really excited about was those kind of apartments which I lived in. They're called dingbats. Do you know that? It's the weirdest term. They're an architectural term for those buildings that have like a button on them or a star, and they'd be called, you know, whatever, the Palm, but they have these very aspiring names, but they're really kind of dumps. But they're also, there's something kind of cool about them, and in fact, this very esoteric, intellectual architecture journal called me because they were doing a whole issue on dingbats and and about saving dingbats and the architectural significance of dingbats. But some of them are really interesting in a kind of modernist wafer way. You know, where the cars park right underneath them. Anyway, I was really interested in those and didn't know I lived in them. I didn't know they were called dingbats. And I don't know, just that kind of carpeting and those sort of, it was something that I was really familiar with, that interiors of those kind of places and the sort of different levels of like what's fancy within like really a low, you know, thing.
I remember you had that huge book of all the sort of 70s stuff that you gave us with like filled with like all the music to listen to and what to be
so young.
reading, and I know what the 70s were. And but like also I feel like there were all these pictures in there of everything was very specific.
Right.
Yeah, I could talk about this too. Jerry, do you want to keep going?
No.
So hold on, now I froze. I know what it was. It was like if you were like house hunting and you went to like 20 of these places, you would go, do you have anything else besides these kind of places? But what Tamara had in her head was 3 different places that the differences are like,
So
they were like, yeah,
minimal.
and it was really important that we find these places that had these weird little differences. And just remember, like, and they go like, this is it, this is like the palace, and I'm like, yeah, this, okay, yeah, it's like from this angle, maybe we can. I don't know.
Oh, the fancy building.
Yeah,
I was like, this is like so fancy. I mean, compared, like,
yeah,
in
but
my
that was our
mind,
world.
yeah.
But that was our world of the movie.
That's
which
the
is
scale.
what
The
they were
scale was
experiencing.
a different kind of scale. So it had to be up a notch of economic aspiration, like, ooh, that's so much, wow, we're rich. But you're not.
But I loved getting into into her reality of I love photography, and filmmaking started out for me as like a way to just to help make a little money at an obsession in a way. It was really hard to learn to be a film cameraman, but I loved to take pictures. And when Tamara came along with this palette, that was one of the lost not geographies. What's it? Just like. It's like these things are everywhere in LA. I'm from New York, and you go to LA, and there's this stuff that everybody looks past. And Tamara said, that, and we're not going through this neighborhood, this is the neighborhood, you know? And it was like, I'm like, ooh, like flat surfaces, and like, you know, it's like, it was rectangles, and it was like everybody, you know, I have to learn how to light people, I have to learn how to light dark people, and people with like, tall, shiny faces and da-da-da, and I'm like, that's really hard. Give me cars and things and you know, houses and buildings and palm trees. And it was like, it was kind of heaven. It was still super hard, but at the same time, I always have these like great memories of going, look at this, and we'd be like, look at this street, you know, and it's like the most mundane thing you've ever seen. But celebrating the mundane, I guess, was part of my job on this film. Like getting into those kids' heads, or I was my interpreter. You let me. I mean, you would have told me to stop. I was doing it wrong, but I felt like I am imagining. I have, you know, my simple fascination with very simple visual things, and that's what I felt really good being your eyes in that respect. And so when it got to things like the fancy apartment. It was like, I'm going to get this somehow. It's going to be the fancy apartment.
So I think that's all the time we have for,
Okay.
but thank you guys so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
It's so wonderful.